What's up? Welcome to the Stand Up and Shout Rock Show with Wisk and Kev.
What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Happy Live Wednesday.
Live Wednesday. Yes, sir. So we're going to try and get on a kind of regular cadence, doing some shows live.
Live shows, baby.
We understand we have a small audience today, which is awesome.
That's how we like our rock and roll. We like it live.
We do like it live. So we're coming at you live from the Salisbury Center studios here in Manassas, Virginia on the Wylde Style Network, fueled by Monster Energy.
Woo-woo.
So,
hey, wait a minute. Don't forget RVRepairBear.com.
That's right. RVRepairBear.com, one of our other great sponsors. We thank them for their support.
We thank them for the RV they supplied for the KIX show.
And the t-shirts.
And the t-shirts too.
Yeah, the t-shirts were hot. There was a couple posts on Facebook and specifically on the KIX fan page asking about the t-shirt.
Really?
Yeah. Someone posted a picture of the t-shirt and they're like, you know, was this special for the show? How can I get one?
Yeah.
I didn't see them for sale. So I let them know that it was a free giveaway and I'd sell them mine for $80.
Wow. Wow. I would buy yours.
We've got a couple leftovers that we can give away on the show.
Oh, yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Cool.
So if you want to contact those people, maybe.
Well, we have live listeners, right? Because we are live.
Yeah.
So maybe if you're a live listener out there right now and you're a follower for us on Facebook, if you go to the Stand Up and Shout Rock Show on Facebook or on Instagram, or go to our Gmail even and respond right now, you could be a winner.
For sure.
Yeah. Just tell us how much you want one of those shirts and how bad you just love the design and the style. How about that?
That works.
That was an instant contest.
There we go. So first time we've been on the air since the KIX show, which was awesome.
Yeah.
I think we'll talk about that a bit more in a little bit. But I know that you did a little rock and roll road trip this weekend.
Oh,
so,
I was wondering where you're going with that.
Yeah. So, and got to check out the Foo Fighters, one of their first shows since getting back on the road.
Absolutely. I went to the Sonic Temple Music Festival specifically for the Foo Fighters. I was just a 1 day out of a 4-day event, excursion for me. And so, yes, I got to see the Foo Fighters with Josh Freese. And I think that this is going to be probably a Foo Fighters themed show because that is the latest and greatest that's happening right now. And there's a lot that we can talk about swirling around that right now. But the Foo Fighters did a 2-hour set.
Nice.
20 songs. All amazing. I went in with my girlfriend and her children, and their children, when I say that, they're 15 and 16, turning 15 and turning 17, really. And yeah, so like I got to witness them seeing the Foo Fighters for the first time, and it was a massive, massive event, sold out crowd. I got to watch them crowd surf for the first time.
Did see those pictures.
Yes. And that was, I put them up and over without my girlfriend knowing. She saw after the fact, and it was the fun and the thrill for everyone. So, the coolest part when they introduced Josh Freese, Dave Grohl introduced a resume for him in bands because he's been in several bands, right?
Oh, yeah.
But my favorite when he was talking about him playing with, when he did a song, for each and every band that he played with, was when he was talking about his time with 9 Inch Nails, and they kicked into March of the Pigs. And the Foo Fighters were rocking out for probably about a minute, 30 seconds to a minute on March of the Pigs, which, just thrashing 9 Inch Nails. And that was slick. I could have watched them do that whole song.
They kind of made it sound like they did the whole song. Some of the reviews I saw. So yeah. And then obviously they opened up the Atlantis in DC last night.
No, we weren't there.
Nope.
I was at Rival Sons last night at the Fillmore in Silver Spring. So they were also at Sonic Temple just the night before. So I didn't get to see them there, but I got to see them. And that was my first time seeing Rival Sons. Solid band, fantastic, high quality, sounding note for note live as they do in the studio.
Awesome. Was it crowded?
It was not. It was, I don't know if it was Tuesday after Memorial Day. Maybe half full. When I say that, we've complained about the Fillmore on this show before, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt. I've never been there when it wasn't. Where in the last time we went, they tried to not even let us in when we had tickets.
Right.
It was so oversold.
Right. So you could move this time. There was nobody wanting to kill you just by stepping, foot to the right,
awesome.
Kind of deal, let alone go to the bathroom. And so like in that way, it was a good sized crowd for that venue, but maybe a little light. I would like to see more people there.
Sure. No doubt.
Yeah.
So any takers, Scott? Anyone respond on the giveaway?
Did we look? I'm sorry, Scott. We didn't even know there was a giveaway, let alone you checking for the giveaway.
Threw the curveball to you, but yeah.
I'm going to say this about Sonic Temple also. Can I get back to that?
Yeah.
Because I got it. We always talk about new music, right? New music versus old music. We're talking about the Foo Fighters Day. But I got to see for my first time Aaron Jones. And Aaron Jones is a beast. Like everything that I was expecting to see live, he performed live. And that was one of my favorite moments of that day. So if there's an opportunity for anyone, now Aaron Jones is out of Seattle, we're on the East Coast. It might be a hard show to kind of find in terms of his touring schedule. But if you have the opportunity, and not only was Aaron Jones, but his band, everybody in performing with him were super slick. It was somewhere between one of my favorite bands, Living Colour, and then, of course, Lenny Kravitz with a little bit of Slash thrown in.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was just a heavy, heavy, great sound.
The lineup from that day was really, in my opinion, Foo Fighters trying to sell a lot of the newer bands because other than Deftones and Pretty Reckless, which is relatively new, but a lot of new music in front of the Foo Fighters that day. Yeah,
so another act that I never heard of. Now, I knew Aaron Jones coming in, that I really enjoyed and I caught because we were there so wicked early, way earlier than I thought it was going to be. It was an act called Holy Wars. And Kat Leon with her, and she was a female front woman. It was just a beast of a performer and put on a hell of a show. So that would be a band that I would go back and catch again. And that was one of those bands that I caught early that now I'm starting to listen to. As that's the great thing that happens at these live shows, right?
For sure, yeah.
Like that's what you get exposed to that you wouldn't expect. That was the unexpected find that I had at the Sonic Temple Music Festival this time around. So yeah, that I heard that was named after the Cult album, Sonic Temple.
That's what I would have thought of that.
Right. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, that's where I want to go. Talking about it, but yeah. So
Jeff, I've got to pull the curtain back just for a minute.
Okay.
If you want us to handle the DMs and stuff, we have to have access to the email and the page. So you're going to have to check to see if we have any winners.
All right. I'm checking.
Until we get that.
I'm going to check it. I got my notes right in front of me.
I know that's super professional to do that, but
I just didn't want to be rude.
Well, at least you can see it because otherwise I got to put my glasses on.
I would have loved that.
So
I would have loved it.
Yeah, I'm going to try to avoid that as much as possible.
All right.
But while we're checking that out, we can move on. Obviously, we mentioned the KIX show. So what was that? A couple weekends ago, KIX was here at the Salisbury Center, which was great. We got some video of their performance from that show, as well as Days of Five and Gavin Evick were here helping support that show.
Yeah.
Great night. The crowd was awesome. The place was packed. Growing up in Manassas, like we've talked about lots of times on the show, it was kind of a high school reunion night too. So we got to see a lot of folks. Obviously, it was the owner's 39th annual birthday bash.
Annual 39th birthday.
Annual 39th birthday bash. So it was a great party all around, but having KIX here was just the highlight of that.
Of course. I mean, and it was the last time the three of us, being selfish for the three of us, Jeff Salisbury out there, me and you, we saw them together was a very tragic moment. So, it was really just kind of like a nice way to bring that back around again and see Jimmy playing.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And we caught Brian Forsyth before Brian Forsyth hit, the place that he's in right now.
Yep. And a little bit of an illness. And, so yeah, they've done their last two most recent shows with just Bob Paré playing guitar. So kind of like they've done in bits and spurts when Ronnie would come in and out of the band, and it just was Brian. So, but it does sound like he's feeling better. I heard he's supposed to be at their show this coming weekend. So.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's great news. I mean, that's the beauty of KIX, right? The double axe attack.
Absolutely.
You're right. We've seen him with one guitarist as opposed to two. And, Brian Forsyth's always pulled it off and done a great job, but you miss it. You miss the second person being there.
Well, and, kind of leading up, obviously they're, and we talked about it. We got to interview him on the show, which was just phenomenal. It would have been, nice if Steve Whiteman had been able to make it, but understand that. But the guys were gracious with their time.
Yeah.
And chatted with us. So it was good talking about their career, the upcoming plans over the next couple of months before their the Walking Away show out at Merriweather. But, it was a good chat.
I would call it the highlight. We've only been podcasting for 5 months. We're coming up on our 6th month. So half a year. It's the highlight of what we've done so far.
I would agree.
But that's so far.
So far, right?
So far, we got more coming.
Now Chat GPT can add that we interviewed KIX.
Oh, I know.
In addition to Aerosmith and Guns N' Roses.
That. Yeah, we should have thought about that. Yeah, we'll have to do that. That'll be that's the next podcast. We got the idea just blew up in my head as soon as you said that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it was a, good show. They did talk about the plans for the upcoming final shows. And Bob Parry posted on the KIX fan page earlier this week a picture of him and Ronnie Younkins.
Yes.
Rehearsing.
Yes.
So, and I think Scott's going to pull up a link from blabbermouth.net where Ronnie recently was interviewed and talked about the fact, and he confirmed that he is going to be performing at the very least at the final KIX show.
I love it because to me, I've gone back to this. We talk about feel a lot, feel a lot in live music, feel a lot with different players coming in and out of different bands. And I always say that, Ronnie is the much needed dirt underneath the fingernails, KIX. Yep. And I love his grit. I love the heavy that he brings into their sound, and nothing against Bob Paré, nothing against, of course, Brian Forsyth, but it just, I love his sound when he's in. So we have our tickets.
Yep.
And I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah. And at least hopefully one final time we'll get to see him play the Kid.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, yes.
That would be great.
Yeah. And supposedly it's been talked about as well. Brad Divins, who was the bassist and lead singer of Wrathchild America, but also played guitar on Cool Kids, is also going to be there.
Right.
And so should be a great show. We'll get to see folks coming on and off, and a lot of speculation about whether Donnie Purnell is going to show up or not, but nothing confirmed, but that would be awesome too.
Yeah.
It's like, is Mitch going to be there too? You're talking about all of the Baltimore sort of rock royalty from the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
I think Mitch from SR-71 is the only one you haven't mentioned.
Well, and Child's Play, they're going to be opening the show. So.
Yeah, that's what I knew they were going to be there, obviously.
Right.
And we talked, Kevin, we brought up Sonic Temple right out of the gate, but I don't think we talked about M3. You and I went to the M3 Rock Festival.
Yeah, the first night. Yep.
And we had a heard and word on that in a previous episode of the podcast. So, maybe we did talk about it after. Did we talk about it after Extreme dropped?
That was before we actually went. Yeah.
Yeah. So Extreme dropped, and that was my word and heard and word. So that was a heartbreak for me. So that was the thing I was most looking forward to. That was the heard and word. Yep. And the fill in the blank. The thing you're most looking forward to me, my word is Extreme. Yours was Child's Play, and you picked the right word.
I guess, I got lucky.
I thought they were fantastic.
They were awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm blanking on the guy who's doing lead vocals now.
Yeah.
Because obviously Brian Jack has passed on, but he was great.
Yes.
The band was great. They sounded awesome. Sounded like they did back in the late 80s or early 90s, and it put on a great show.
Yeah, the one curve for me with Child's Play is that they did not play, if you know their songs, one of the more popular songs from back in the day was Rat Race, and they did not play Rat Race. I was very surprised about that. Outside of that, they played a lot of great stuff.
Yeah, a couple new tunes as well, so it was good.
And then the other thing I would say that in terms of a band that was noticeable to me that day, surprisingly, I guess to some degree, but I guess not in others, is Quiet Riot. I thought they really showed up that day too.
They were phenomenal.
Yeah. So I got to compliment them.
Yeah. And then Styx put on a great show.
Sure.
We've seen them a couple of times, but they're just always great.
Yeah. So we have seen some good live stuff.
We have.
Yeah.
I think we'll take a quick break here, do a little regroup, and come back and talk about some summer shows.
All right.
We're going to take a break on the Stand Up and Shout Rock Show. Welcome back to the Stand Up and Shout Rock Show with Wisk and Kev, coming at you on the Wild Style Network.
Live on the Wild Style.
Live on the Wild Style Network.
Fueled by
Monster Energy.
And thanks to RVCareBear.com.
RVRepairBear.com.
Oh, I always want to say Care Bear.
Get it right. We got to keep the sponsors.
Yeah. You think that's a real site? RV Care Bear? Like, where would you go? What would you hit if you hit RV Care Bear?
I don't know. That's a furry thing.
Might not want to find out what site you go to.
I love it.
Yeah, so we're live on a Wednesday here in Manassas, Virginia, and it was 85 degrees out when I got out of the car today. It was great.
Yeah.
Starting to feel like summer.
Yeah.
And, I know for me, and we spend a lot of time going to a lot of shows during the summer. So there's just a ton of great stuff coming up. And I know we've got tickets to a bunch of stuff. We've talked about KIX, who I think we're going to catch a couple of times before they wrap it all up.
That'll be the fall. It's not going to be the summer.
The last one will be.
But
yes.
wait, we're going to see KIX in Dewey Beach.
Yes.
Yeah.
August 3rd.
August 3rd
So we're road tripping up there.
at the Bottle and Cork.
Yes.
That'll be a great show.
Yep.
But there's some great stuff coming up all around this area, particularly here at the Salisbury Center. On June the 16th, we have the Spotlight on Fridays. The Metal Night, Age of Ruin is playing.
Our old friends, Age of Ruin.
Age of Ruin.
Always great to talk to those guys. We will absolutely be talking to them that night.
Yep. And there's a bunch of other bands, and I don't have them all written down, but that's going to be a great show on a Friday night. And then we got on July the 8th, the Glam Slam Metal Tour.
Yeah.
Featuring Enough's Enough.
Yes.
The Choir Boys.
Yes.
Formerly the London Choir Boys.
7 o'clock.
And Bad Marriage.
Yeah.
Should be a great show.
Sure.
Another great episode. Hopefully we get to chat with all those guys. And then on July the 22nd is the Local Palooza show.
Love it. The second annual
Featuring?
Local Palooza show featuring Jimmy's Chicken Shack, one of my all-time favorites. I don't know. I mean, they're locally based, but they had a national presence.
Oh, yeah.
So that'll be a thrill.
Yeah, going to be a great
We
show.
have to talk to those
Yeah,
dudes.
Scott was asking, how big were they compared to, say, KIX?
Right.
And I would say nationally, for that time period, they were probably as big or bigger than KIX.
Sure.
In this area, probably not as big as KIX, because KIX has been legendary for 40 years.
Yeah.
But for that small moment in time, they were huge nationally.
Sure. Yeah. High. That was the biggest
High
song.
was- I mean,
and I don't
that
know.
was in everything.
That's a good question. What charted higher, High or Don't Close Your Eyes? Because they both charted.
Yep.
And to me, when I think of Jimmy's Chicken Shack, I always think of the side stage of the WHF festivals, the old, RFK Stadium festivals. They were the kings of the side stage. So they were always, I remember them when they were kind of midday on the side stage, moving to closing the side stage. And they had a huge crowd, out in the side. They would definitely pull, people back out of that main stage for the Shack. So
Pulled you actually away from the pull-up bar?
it
The side stage?
didn't take much to pull me away from the pull-up.
Yeah, and so I believe Gavin Evick and First Try are also
we're gonna
playing
be
Local
there.
Palooza. Any other acts we can announce, Jeff?
We got Vin Hill. So sorry, I was looking at the Jimmy's Chicken Shack.
Yeah,
Vin Hill, Gavin Evick. There's a couple others that they're confirming now.
All right. I was going to say, I don't know if we're allowed to say it. There's one, and there's another one I'm excited about that we might
Days of Five, of course.
Days of, well, it's First Try.
First Try, that's right.
So I know, I'm so confusing. And there's even potential for Days of Five members to be playing with First Try to make it even muddier.
Nice.
There you go.
Well, and I meant to ask you when in the last segment we were talking about KIX, obviously for you personally, with Days of Five as the opening act for KIX, biggest crowd you've performed for
Absolutely.
in front
It
of.
was a thrill of a lifetime. It was a super fun crowd. People were partying out there.
Yeah.
So it was, we know what I hate? I hate it when people use the word surreal. Everything's surreal. Everything's not surreal. Wouldn't be surreal if everything was surreal. But all these athletes and artists come up and say, that's the most surreal experience. The experience was not surreal. That's the wrong word for it, but it was crazy, exciting and thrilling. And, I don't know, I'm going to get misty eyed even thinking about it. The fact that I always feel like we've always worked our way up to the stage, right? That's the goal, is to get as close as possible to the band. But there was this moment that I was like, oh my God, I'm in the same spot as the band. They're going to be walking out in a little bit on this spot. So that was a goosebump moment.
Yeah, it was a good crowd too. They were into it, and obviously you won them over with the t-shirts. So
some Days of Five shirts are given out that night.
free swag always goes far.
Of course.
Yeah, so those are the shows coming up here at the Salisbury Center, which we're looking forward to. There's also some other great music coming to this area, the DC, Northern Virginia area. Tally Ho has Jackal this Friday. Good show. And then on June 24th, the Lynch Mob is going to be playing there.
Yes.
With our friends Gavin Evick.
Yes.
Opening up for those guys.
Yeah, we didn't catch Gavin. We didn't really talk to Gavin the night that he was here with KIX. We have to catch up with him about that and you're asking about my feelings, get his feelings.
For sure. That. Yeah, no, we were a little tight, and we were fortunate enough, based on the sound check schedule, to actually get KIX to come and sit down with us for a bit. So that then everything sort of spun out of control the rest of that night. But, also coming out to Tally Ho on July 25th, Buck Cherry, which we will be at.
That's where I lose my girlfriend. That's she's just gone doing her Josh Todd thing.
One of her guys. And then July 28th, Living Color is going to be there.
Oh, wait. But for me, this is the curve. My curve. I'm going to look at my notes here, Kevin. You didn't go to the Glasses.
I did not.
I'm impressed.
I'm sticking away from them.
Just like when I was looking at my notes, I just realized that. So you said July 28th?
Yep.
29th. That's when I see Living Color at the Atlantis, the newly opened. So I actually have 2 tickets. So it's my I don't have it. My girlfriend got the tickets. I don't know how she got the tickets, but she got the tickets. So the 2 of us are seeing Living Color the day after.
She might be going with Josh Todd.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
Yeah. And then another one that we're going to be at September the 23rd is Lita Ford.
Yes.
Which is going to be great. We've seen her several times recently at M3, which is a much smaller set normally. And we'll actually get to see her as a headlining act.
Always a solid show.
Yeah.
She is amazing. We didn't bring that up at M3, but it's almost taken for granted because we saw her last year at M3 also. So the past 2 years we've seen her, and it's just a sweet, solid show.
Yep. Fantastic. And then later in October, I think it's not October, September the 1st, I believe, is the date we're going to be seeing Greta Van Fleet.
Yes.
At Capital One Arena.
Yeah.
So
Did you mention Guns N' Roses?
I have not.
You were saving them. That. You were
saving them for last.
Building into that or not?
Do you mean Guns N' Roses or Night Train International, which will be here September 23rd?
Oh, we did. September did we know 23rd. That? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I was going to say I didn't know that either. That's cool.
That'll be a great show, but we will be seeing Guns N' Roses.
Scott smiling that he knew that. Look at him. You guys don't see that, but there's some cheese going on.
And it's, I think it's, is it August 17th?
For the Gunners?
Yeah.
August 11th.
August 11th.
Wait a minute. I want to be right. I don't think I am. I'm going to my notes. Oh, I'm right. August 11th.
Yeah, August 11th, which is Friday. It's like I think it's the 3rd date back in North America.
Yes.
So it will be Guns N' Roses. And they just announced today, they released the list of bands that are going to be the opening acts on the North American tour. And that was, we got it pulled up here right on loudwire.com.
Yes.
Thank you, Scott.
Literally hot off the press news.
And I was excited to see who was going to be opening that show.
Right.
Which turns out to be the Pretenders, which will be okay.
That's okay.
But
I'm okay with you on that.
Really bummed me out.
Because we have not talked about this yet. Like you get to see like the actual thought process when Kevin and I start like sitting down and sorting through the things that we talk about, because we have not talked about this at all.
Nope.
So I'm curious as to where you're going to go.
Yeah, I mean, great band, been around a long time.
Yeah,
me personally,
the Pretenders. Right. I'm kind of with you there too. Like, I personally would not chase them down, but obviously they're a Hall of Fame act.
Yep.
So, you got to appreciate the fact you're seeing a Hall of Fame act.
True.
Yeah.
But I would have much preferred to be 3 or 4 more shows down the line.
Yeah.
Because Dirty Honey is then going on a stretch of opening gigs with GNR.
Right.
Which sucks.
Yes. So it gets like, and eventually you're going to get here. I know where you're going. It's kind of like interesting to see the philosophy of how they've chosen their opening acts. So to me, like the old school kind of philosophy is that you pick a newer act. We've talked about this. We've always asked other people about new music. And we've seen a lot of great new bands. I remember the first time I saw the Black Crowes, for example, they opened for Aerosmith. And they were having some music come out and it was getting popular on MTV, but I was thrilled to be able to see Blacks, and they're obviously touring again, but this was back in the early 90s. So it was great to see the Black Crowes for the first time in that way.
Right.
So like if you haven't been exposed to Dirty Honey, that's kind of the traditional way of doing things, right? Like, because We've seen them several times, multiple times. They're a great live band, and it would be nice for others to be. I think you would be pleasantly surprised because they're in the same vein as Guns N' Roses in terms of their music style, and then you would enjoy the show as much as you enjoy a Guns N' Roses show.
Absolutely. And, you know, they just recently tweeted out that they're in Australia wrapping up recording of their third album.
Yes.
So assuming that's going to be out in and around that same time frame too, or at the very least, they're going to be playing new songs.
Yep.
So kind of a bummer, but maybe they want to do some smaller venue type shows.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
maybe we might get
out.
a
We'll have
chance
to have
to
our
see
new
them here.
booker.
Right.
Our new booker, Jeff Sis. Contact them.
And then, you know, the very tail end of that North American leg is Alice in Chains is opening.
Which we have seen. We've
seen
the
that
three
show
of
before.
us. Yeah, we have seen the Guns N' Roses with Alice in Chains.
Which was phenomenal.
Right. But are you bringing up the wrinkle? Carrie Underwood.
Oh, yes.
Which is like, to me, that's the controversy. Like, that's the wait, what? And so, like, I guess, you know, there was the dual performances that we haven't talked about because that was a couple weeks back. And you know, that was some of the stuff you can still catch on YouTube of Axl Rose performing with Carrie Underwood. It's kind of a novelty thing, right? Like in terms of like how you choose your opener, I was kind of describing earlier. I don't get it. I don't necessarily, because I'm not sure if I think of an opening act that I would want to see, that is a jump, you know, from the music style that I've paid for the headliner.
Right.
And it's not being exposed to somebody like a Dirty Honey, but you know who Carrie Underwood is. And then I think to myself, would I want to see that? Or vice versa. If you're a Carrie Underwood fan, I mean, maybe you would catch Guns N' Roses.
Well, and she did a couple Guns N' Roses songs, right? I think that's how Axl came up on stage with her to perform.
Right. But you know what I mean? It's in the style of Carrie Underwood.
True.
Like when I saw those songs, not in the style of, you know, like maybe an act to compare it to when I think of some of the stuff that Fergie and the Black Eyed Peas did with Slash.
Right.
When she sang with Slash, it sounded like she was a rock singer singing. Or Lady Gaga. Remember when she did Moth to a Flame with Metallica?
Yep.
And it shockingly was a metal moment. And I didn't consider that Carrie Underwood moment a metal moment. So it's a weird move. It's to me, it's like Metallica with Lou Reed. You know, like it's an artistic experiment, but I don't know if I like the experiment. You know, like maybe you can listen to it once or twice, but then you're like, you know. So I don't know. I'm curious to see how that goes, what the reviews are, and what people think. Like at that show with Carrie Underwood and Guns N' Roses.
I agree.
Yeah. Sorry if you're a Carrie Underwood fan.
Yeah, if you are, I guess you're getting a little bit more value for your Guns N' Roses ticket because to have her as the opening act for them.
Right. I almost feel like we're back at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame debate. You know what I mean? Like, is Carrie Underwood rock and roll enough to open up for Guns N' Roses or Dolly Parton, you know, going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Is she rock and roll enough?
Or Willie Nelson now.
Or Willie Nelson now, exactly.
So of all those, is there one that you're most looking forward to?
What, in terms of the opener?
No, any of the shows that we've got lined up.
I always love Guns N' Roses because I'm a diehard Guns N' Roses fan. Anytime I see Living Color, you want me to narrow it down to one? I was not prepared for that question because that's a tough question. And the other thing that we're flirting with is also because we're talking about we've missed Extreme, but Extreme in Living Color is going to be in Philadelphia next to Guns N' Roses. So in and around it. But then, I mean, the KIX finale is going to be the KIX finale. So just the weight of that show, I think. I'm not looking forward to that in some ways, obviously, because it's the last time you see them, but the weight of it will make it special.
That's going to be huge. I mean, obviously, you know, we saw what we thought was the final time with Motley Crue, and that was pretty emotional.
I got a little teary-eyed.
What's the over on Jeff crying that night?
I got teary-eyed when Motley Crue closed in Los Angeles on December 31st, 2015 with Home Sweet Home. You know, I was kind of like the Indian or the Native American in the
with the little one drop.
Exactly, coming down.
Yeah. I'm gonna bring the tissues for you if they play. She's walking away.
I'll never live that down.
I'll never let you live that down.
I'll never live that down.
You have to think they're gonna play that. Yeah. I mean, they're already calling it the walking away show,
right?
So
I got dumped, and Jeff Salisbury was driving me home in high school, and he had that song on the car, and I might have got a little teary eyed.
I mean, that
Thinking
one
about your ex-girlfriend that just dumped you.
I did. I just got dumped like the day before.
That one.
Sorry about that.
I did it. I'm guilty.
Talking about some of the older songs with those guys. I was looking at the charts for KIX, who charted higher. Jimmy's Chicken Shack was number 10. Don't Close Your Eyes was number 11.
Wow.
I knew they were at 11. I didn't know how high Jimmy's Chicken Shack went.
Wow.
I knew
Do you
that.
know what KIX's only other charting song was at number 104?
Blow My Fuse.
I was going to guess that or Cold Blood.
No. Nope. Go further back.
Really?
Yeah.
The Itch?
Nope.
I'm going to go way back.
You're not going to believe this.
Yeah.
Body Talk. Number 104 in 1983.
So now that you say it, I absolutely remember that being played on the radio.
I love that song,
Yeah,
by the way.
yeah.
But nobody ever knows it.
People dog Cool Kids, and I like that album.
Yeah. I mean, Cool Kids and, because I thought it was going to be The Kid maybe if it's the older one, but
Yeah. Cool Kids I think is an overly maligned album, not an underrated, but people dog it too much. It's a good album.
It's a good cross between like their rock feel and the Baltimore rock.
Yeah.
And what was going on at the time with sort of the disco fading out.
Yeah.
Kind of like Loving You by Kiss.
Yeah.
I Was Made for Loving You, Baby, whatever that song's called.
Yeah.
Had that crossover feel.
Sure.
And I felt like that's what it was like.
Yeah.
But I was shocked to see that those are their only other charting song.
Yeah.
Well, and they
I wouldn't have gotten it.
they stay away from that.
They do.
It's been a long time since I can remember them playing anything off of that album.
Yeah. I will go way deep track. I think my favorite song off that album is Love Pollution. I think that's a slick song, and I'd love to see him. I don't know. Maybe we'll see that on the last show. We're talking about our shows we're looking forward to.
Well, if Brad Divins is coming out on stage to perform with them, they got to be playing at least a couple of songs off of that album.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that show's going to be emotional for me, and I may shed a tear or two as well.
Look at that. We'll be arm in arm, teary.
The one I'm looking
That
forward
might
to,
be
though,
one for me too, actually.
Wow.
I know.
Wow.
I was kind of, that's one of the reasons I didn't want to get up there and sing with you when you were trying to call me up. I was kind of overwhelmed that night.
I bet. I thought we had you. I thought, the crowd was wanting it. They were wanting it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to, but I think I would have lost it if I'd have gotten up there. It would have been too much for me to take. It was a really good night.
It was an amazing night.
yeah. But I think, me personally, of all the summer shows, Guns is going to be great, and we have phenomenal seats for that show.
We do.
Right in front of Slash. So that's going to be fantastic. But I think I'm looking forward most to the show in Dewey, just because of the venue.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's going to be tiny and crowded, and
It's the beach in the summer. KIX playing beach in the summer. Yeah.
so that's probably the
Sets
one.
the tone.
And then Lynch Mob is probably number 3. Sorry about that.
I'm going to Ed Sheeran that night.
Yeah, well, enjoy that.
It's a Christmas present. My girlfriend.
I have a grappling show that night.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're at opposite
I
ends.
might have to skip with that night. Go see Lynch Mob.
Yeah.
Well, we are diehard George Lynch fans.
Yep.
So, and we missed it. We had tickets to see that before or in the beginning of COVID, right? And that show got canceled. It was coming out.
But it was just him. It was, he had put out a solo album, so it was just going to be him and not the Lynch Mob. But yeah, so we missed that one. And then I was thinking back to it. I'm sure you've probably seen them as Lynch Mob, but I never did. And the last time I saw George play,
I can't believe
was
that.
at Monsters of Rock.
Really?
Yep. So it's been forever.
What you mean not even with Dokken? That was the last time you saw Dokken?
Yeah, I mean, we
guess it maybe
saw Dokken like at Jack's, but it was long.
That was not George Lynch.
He was long gone by then.
That's a good point. That could have been the last time I saw Dokken with George Lynch also.
Well, it had to have been, because that was the end of, they released the live album, and then he was like, peace out.
Yep.
He was fed up.
Yep.
So, but yeah, definitely the last time I saw him, and like I said, I hadn't seen Lynch Mob. So looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
And I'll send you lots of pictures and stuff while you're at Ed Sheeran. So, all right, well, I think we're going to kick it to another break, and then we're going to come back with a brand new episode or edition of What are the odds?
Foo Fighter style.
Foo Fighter style. Be right back on the Stand Up and Shout Rock Show.